Julian Edelman, the other week at this point, this was not within the last couple of days, somewhat roasted the Pittsburgh Steelers on how they never change anything and maybe never will change anything. He said on his podcast, Names with Games, quote, "You know exactly what they are doing, and they still do what they did. They still do the same goddamn shit as when I was playing Tomlin's defense." I'm like, we still have linebackers covering the 3 slot. Every time we play Steelers, I have at least 9 catches. You would think that they would change it, but no, they do. They do what they do. I mean, nothing that we know. I don't think anybody listening to this right now can sit here and say, I disagree with that. Maybe very few people. Well, Ben Roethlisberger is one of those people who also does not agree, or who does agree with that, saying on his podcast, Football, and quote, "There's definitely truth to it. You got to change with the times. We're not trying to confuse people like other teams do. Other teams are confusing people. Look at the end of the Bills-Chiefs game. Steve Spagnuolo sent a corner blitz. They sent it for the first time all game in a situation where you would never expect it, and you need it, and they got home. I think that we just got we're just better than you. We're going to line up and we're going to beat you. That works to a certain extent. At some point, you have to decide that you're going to throw some different wrinkles at teams. There's something that the Steelers, they got to get away from. I mean, of everybody the Pittsburgh Steelers have had in the last decade, the one name that when he says there is truth to us not doing anything crazy, there is truth to the Pittsburgh Steelers being stagnant, the same, and never changing. The name that you listen to is Ben Roethlisberger, because he was there through it all, through the start and right up until 2-3 years ago of Mike Tomlin. And in those 3 years, nothing's changed except for the quarterback. And the results remain the same. Alarming. We'll start with alarming. I think that's the word that summarizes everything. Nothing that comes as a surprise to any of us. Nobody is sitting around saying, are you kidding me? The Pittsburgh Steelers, they change all the time. They are the league's most adjustable franchise. That's what they are. Nobody says that. They all say the same stuff. The Steelers don't change. They're stagnant. It's stale. It's old. The Steelers' way is potentially dead. There are various ways to word it and make it more or less aggressive. Ben just simply said, yeah, it's true. It's true. And I think when Ben says it, and Ben says a lot of things that you go, all right, Ben's getting a little meaty-ish. Ben's getting a little podcaster on us. This is one where you go, Ben's definitely been holding that one in. That's something Ben's been thinking about for 10 years and hasn't said. And he says a lot of things, but this is the one where, yeah, the right time, right place. Yep, you know what? They don't change. They haven't changed in a long time. It's not going to happen. Mike Tomlin will not listen to Ben Roethlisberger and say that's the reason that we have to change. Ben called us out. Now it's time for us to change everything we know and to throw wrinkles at teams because Ben Roethlisberger said that it's an issue. But I think he should take it as a warning that two legends in the NFL, two greats in the NFL, different variations, I understand, are both agreeing, one of them on your team, one of them your Hall of Fame quarterback that you worked with through your entire career up until 3 years ago, all agree that you need to change, that things need to be different. And they both highlight your side of the football. Mike Tomlin should definitely take this one as a warning, as a bit of a wake-up call. If he hasn't taken anything else as a bit of a wake-up call. And I think this is the best part of this, because Mike Tomlin's not listening to anybody. He care less, man. He don't care about nothing. And I bet you he hasn't even heard Ben, because the offseason's here, which means he's not meeting with the PR department every single day, which means he has no idea what's going on outside of his home and UPMC Rooney Sports Complex. But I think the more former players that start talking about this, the better. Because the more former players that keep talking about how the Pittsburgh Steelers need to change, and this is why, and we're saying this from experience, maybe the more that it does get to names like Omar Khan and Art Rooney and Mike Tomlin, where they say, shit, Maybe we do have to change. Maybe that is something that needs to come. Super Bowl 59 is right around the corner, and it's the perfect time to get in on the action with my partners at DraftKings Sportsbook. Right now, they're giving all new customers $200 in bonus bets instantly after betting just $5. This is your shot to make every last play a moment to be remembered. Don't wait. Download the DraftKings app now and sign up using our code ALLSTEELERS. The crown is yours. Stay in on the action and use your $200 in bonus bets on DraftKings same game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Combine multiple bets together from the same game. I do it all the time. Love the thrill of live betting? DraftKings has got you covered. Bet live on in-progress games right as they happen, making watching the game that much more exciting. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy and have the shot to win cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use my promo code ALLSTEELERS and bet just $5 on any wager and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code ALLSTEELERS only at DraftKings Sportsbook. It's not going to happen soon. I don't know if it happens at all, but I will say that it's a good thing that these people, especially Ben Roethlisberger, are talking, because that will spark the conversation further. Mike Tomlin's not listening, but maybe he should be. I use the word alarming with this one. Is it as alarming as I think it is that Ben's out here saying what he's saying?
I wouldn't go with the word alarming. I would go with the word confirmation, because I think everybody that's watched this Pittsburgh Steelers team thinks the same thing. Maybe they don't know it at a base level, but watching it, they're saying, yeah, a lot of people drew comparisons between this year's offense and Matt Canada's offense. And while I think that's a bridge too far, I can see how you could make the jump. I can see how on the surface you could say they're just different variations of crap. This year, it was the toss. Last year was the jet sweep. Either way, you look at the last 5 weeks of Arthur Smith's offense and you look at all of Matt Canada's time in Pittsburgh, it's crap. No matter what variation it is, it's crap. It wasn't working. It wasn't good. We saw some glimmers last year with Justin Fields and even at times with Russell Wilson of that offense being proficient. Shoot, they went for what, 500 plus yards against the Cincinnati Bengals in a road game. But at the end of the day, their philosophy is flawed. Their philosophy is outdated. And that is something that we can see as two people that have never stepped foot on an NFL field and played in an actual NFL action. So if somebody on the field or somebody that was on the field in this organization is saying that, it's just confirmation from what everybody else is seeing. This offense philosophically needs to change. From the ground up, it needs to change. And Ben saying too many times it feels like they're just lining up and saying we're going to be better. Doing that with Van Jefferson as a number 2 wide receiver is a horrible, horrible misuse of any opportunity that you get as an NFL coach or as an NFL player. Like, again, we bash Van Jefferson a lot. He was miscast as a number 2. As a number 3 or number 4, he is perfectly serviceable, but he was miscast, and that is as much on the coaching as it is, even more on coaching, that it is on the player. So I just feel like this is confirmation for everybody that's been watching, because everybody is seeing the same thing.
Yeah, I agree. And again, like Edelman's talking about the defensive side of the football, and that's super alarming. And when Ben says it, it means that he's talking about, like, there are these reports coming out that Arthur Smith stopped Russell Wilson from changing plays at the line of scrimmage. And you're going, wow, that's concerning. What's more concerning is that the offense sucked after that happened. That the offense just completely fell apart after that happened. And you could blame a number of things, but I mean, if it's going to come out that at some point Arthur Smith said you can't change plays at the line of scrimmage anymore, and things just got worse, what's going on there? You know, why is maybe the players themselves are starting to realize more and more that this is an issue, man, and that this is not something we should be doing, and there should be change. And this system on both sides is just not working right now. I mean, we came up with at least I came up with the hypothetical, the conspiracy that the person that the Steelers defense was talking about could have been Terrell Austin or Mike Tomlin or the people calling and controlling the defense, that could have been who this defense was talking about. That's where I'm at with this. Is I'm a little concerned, that players are starting to realize that this is an issue. And I think Edelman's saying it. Like, there's a lot of, we get asked all the time, why do guys want to come to Pittsburgh? Why would you want to come to Pittsburgh? And my response is because it's Mike Tomlin, because this franchise has history, because guys in the NFL view Mike Tomlin and everything else very differently. I mean, I'm sure a good chunk do, but Edelman is revealing that there are many out there that see this as the Steelers they're an old school football team that isn't built to win right now. And that's an issue. I think it's alarming when players start to say it. There's a difference between your offense is predictable, your defense is predictable, and guys saying, yeah, it's because they've never done anything different in the last 20 years, and that's why it's not working. Like, that's when predictable is a concern, but that could be a play caller. Nothing changing is your head coach. That is your philosophy. That is your general manager. That is your owner. And that's where this gets a little concerning. Is this is not you could change personnel and things change. Keith Butler was doing it when Julian Edelman was there, and Terrell Austin was doing it when Julian Edelman was there. Different people, same outcome. So I think it's concerned. This is just like you said. This is something where notable. It's as notable as it gets that you're looking at this going, okay, keep talking, because this is not a good place to be. I mean, will it change anything? No. At the end of the day, that's the Steelers aren't changing, but it is something that when certain players talk, when former players talk, when Ben Roethlisberger talks about the Steelers in a negative light, that isn't like they sucked in week 15, but is more of a bigger picture thing. You start to pay attention. And I think I think it's important. I definitely think it's important.